In this video, I'm going to show you how to use portals in React by creating simple overlay modal. I'm going to also discuss the advantages of using portal and when and why to use them. So now let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome to Full Stack Simplified. I am Prashun and I am here to share some amazing contents related to full stack. If that sounds interesting, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. For getting started, I have created a simple starter project with create React app, and in the app.js I have a simple text and a button which is basically used to toggle this show state to either true or false. And accordingly, if the state is true, I'm going to render this simple text here, and if it is false, I'm going to simply hide it. And obviously in the future, I'm going to replace this simple text with the modal which we will be creating later in this video. So if I quickly show you the demo and click on this open modal button, it is going to render our text. And if I click on this button again, it is going to set this show state to false, and accordingly this text will be hidden. If we have a quick look into the official documentation of React portals, it says React portal is a way to render children into a DOM node that exists outside the DOM hierarchy of the parent component. Now what does that mean? Now if we quickly navigate to our project and open this public folder, we can find an index.html file. If we click on that, we can see that we have an empty div with this ID of root. And in the index.js, we see that React DOM is basically injecting our whole app and essentially all the components that we create into this root div. And we can verify this by bringing up our dev tools here. And I'll click on inspect. And in the elements tab, we can see that our whole React app is basically rendered inside this root div. Now what if we want to render a component that is outside our root div? So React portals provides us techniques to render our component outside its parent node. And you may wonder, why at any point do we need to render components in a different node? And I'm going to explain this too once we are done creating our overlay modal component. Now for this, I'm simply going to create a file in our src folder, and I'm going to name it modal.js. And here inside this component, I am simply going to use an amazing VS Code extension called ES7 React Redux. And basically if I type RFCE, then it is going to generate the complete boilerplate code for the React functional component. And if you want to learn more about this extension, you can check one of my videos where I have talked about some of the must-have VS Code extensions, including this one too. You can find the link for the same in the cards and also in the description below. So now I'm simply going to rename this to modal with capital M. And inside this we are going to have a simple div, and here we'll be having the class name of modal. And inside this div we are going to have two divs, one for the backdrop or the overlay you can say, and another div will be the main content of our modal. And I'm going to say class name for this overlay will be overlay, and the class name for the content will be obviously content. And now inside this content div we are going to have two things. One will be a simple h2 tag saying this as a simple modal, and another one will be a button which we will be going to use for closing the modal. And also we are going to have two props. The one is the show and another is close modal. And we are going to say if show is false, then we are going to return null, else we are going to basically render our modal. And also on the button we are going to say on click, and we are obviously going to say on click we are going to close this modal. And also on the overlay, if we click on the backdrop, obviously we are also going to close the modal. So I'm simply going to copy this thing and paste it here. Now if I simply go to my app.css, I have already defined all these classes, and don't worry much about the classes. I'll provide the GitHub link to this code in the description below. Do check them out. And the next thing which I'm going to do is obviously import this modal into our app component. So I'm going to say import modal from model. And instead of showing this simple text, I'm going to say modal. And as we have already discussed, we are going to pass two props. The first one is the show, which is our show state. And the second one is close modal, which is going to be a function which sets this show state to false. So we have to say set show to false. And that's it. And now if I quickly save this code and go to my browser and click this open model, we see that we are getting a model, but the UI has been kind of messed up. Now if we quickly inspect what is going on, so in the elements tab we can see that our model is inside this div with this class name of app, as we can obviously see in the JSX. But we want our model to take 100% height and width of the viewport and appear above all other components no matter what. And here, this app class, we are setting a width of 500 pixels and we cannot change that. So what shall be done in this case? So in order to achieve this, we need to render this model outside the parent div. And for this, we will be using React portals. Now for this, I'm simply going to create a div in index.html file, and I'm going to provide the ID here as portal. Next, in the modal.js file, instead of returning our JSX like this, we are going to return react dom.createPortal. And this react dom.createPortal accepts two parameters. The first one is our JSX, and second one we need to pass our div with that ID of portal. So I'm going to say document.getElementById, and here I'm going to pass portal. And obviously don't forget to import React DOM from the React DOM package. And now if I quickly go to my browser and click on this open modal button, we can see that our model is being rendered correctly as it should be. And if we actually inspect this and look at the actual element tree here, you can see that our model has been rendered in this portal and not in the div with the ID of root. So what we have essentially done is we have forced React to render this model outside its parent by creating a portal to somewhere else. And in our case, the portal is this div which we have created. And the most important thing that makes it super powerful is that it has event delegation built into it, in a way that all the events on this portal is delegated to its parent. So in the app.js, if I click on this button, this div is also going to receive that event. And in order to see this, I'm simply going to add an on-click listener to this div. And I'm simply going to log this click text to the console when there is a on-click event. And now if I quickly go to the browser and refresh my page and open the console, we can see if I click on this open modal button, the click text is being logged in the console. And not only on the button, if we click anywhere in this div, we can see the clicked is being logged. So basically what is happening here is this event listener on this button is propagated higher to its parent in the DOM tree. But with React portals, our model is inside this div in our JSX, as we can see here. But in reality, it is rendered outside of its parent node. But even after this, if we go to our web page and open the model and click anywhere on the model, this clicked will be logged in the console anyways. And this is really a very handy feature about React portals, that it allows to render the child anywhere in the DOM tree by also keeping the parent-child relationship intact between the elements. So if you want to create any component like modal, dialog, tooltip or an alert, which is always rendered above its root element, make sure to use React portals. And that was all about React portals. If you like this video, do hit the like button as it motivates me to bring more such contents on this channel. You can also check my other videos on React on this React playlist. Also, don't forget to subscribe this channel for more contents like this.